He's gone back to keep going on to his Uncle Smiley, who's is the place where the kids always stay. They got no time to waste when it's Uncle Smiley. Uncle's the one who's so busy they know, too busy working to get up and go. But Uncle's a friend who can never say no, so Uncle Smiley get up and go. Uncle's the one, he's a barrel of fun, doesn't doubt. Here he comes, it's on. Stumbling around like a carnival clown, he's a part of the town, he's Uncle Smiley. When there's a job to be done, old Uncle is always the one. No matter what happens, it's bound to be fun. So Uncle Smiley, get up and go. So Uncle Smiley, get up and go.
Let me tell you about the special time Uncle Smiley took us on a trip planting. We took some shovels and some baby trees each of us was looking forward to planting. Driving through the mountains in the early morning, you could feel the air was clean. By the river valleys and the fields of corn and the forests deep and green. Looking for the place where the woods lay burnt and the earth was scorched inside. Looking for the place where a hiker's hasty campfire had not died. Smiley told us that he knew everything there was to know about hiking. So with our trees and buckets in our hands, we set out across the meadowlands hiking. But with Uncle along on a hiking trip, you never really know what surprises lay in store and just how things will go. He means well, but it's hard to tell what Uncle's gonna do. You won't believe the things he did and what we all went through.
Hey, have you ever planted a tree? Well, we have. We went reforesting, but that's just a big word for planting trees in the woods where they used to grow.
Uncle Smiley heard there'd been a forest fire in the state park, so we all got together to go back in the woods where the fire had been and plant some baby trees.
You know, for somebody who knows a lot about hiking, Uncle sure had a pile of catastrophes along the way.
What's a catastrophe?
Well, a catastrophe is when something really horrible goes wrong that you don't expect.
Oh yeah, Uncle Smiley had plenty of those. In fact, he had his first catastrophe right after we started out. You see, Uncle found this thing. Tony thought it was a hornet's nest, but Uncle was sure it was a beehive, and he wanted to get some honey.
Uncle said he knew all about bees, and it wouldn't hurt them any if he just took a tiny bit of honey while they weren't looking. Boy, I don't know how Uncle could get past a bunch of bees or hornets without being noticed.
Uncle was so sorry and ashamed of what he'd done to the hornet's home. He was more worried about the little hornets than he was about the sting he had gotten on his backside.
I guess maybe he thought it served him right after being so careless and inconsiderate in the first place.
Well, anyway, we were just sitting there in the field feeling sorry for the hornets when all of a sudden There was a rustling in the bush next to us.
Everybody got really scared at first, and Uncle jumped up to protect us in case it was something dangerous.
Then we snuck over real carefully to see what it was. It was just a poor little rabbit with its paw caught in the big steel trap.
The little rabbit could have never gotten out of the trap, and if we hadn't have come along, he would have just stayed there and starved to death.
Uncle went over to his knapsack to get a pair of thick gloves to open the trap with. He had to be real careful and quiet not to scare the bunny.
Traps are such mean things, they don't seem fair. Uncle Smiley said that they were against the law in the park anyway.
I can't understand how some people can hurt animals like that. Sort of like they don't think animals have any feelings or anything.
Yeah, they don't seem to realize that animals and people should be friends. While we were hiking along the river, some of the kids noticed some pretty flowers growing beside the trail.
Yeah, and they went over and started picking them. I guess they didn't realize what they were doing.
Uncle Smiley came back to stop them.
He reminded them that if everybody did that, pretty soon there wouldn't be any flowers for anybody to look at when they were hiking.
And there wouldn't be any place for honeybees to get food from either. Bees need flowers just like people.
Everybody needs flowers.
Many people never realize animals and people, we're all related. And many people still don't realize every form of life they know is related. They all come together in a special way to make the world go round. Rabbits and trees and flowers and bees and the grass upon the ground. Each has a certain job to do and lives in a certain way. Big or small, they touch us all, and each in a different way.
Uncle had a bad habit of reading while he was hiking, and that got him into an awful lot of trouble sometimes. Actually, though, it wasn't always his fault.
Uncle was really mad when he saw what made him slip.
How could somebody be so stupid and lazy to just throw all that trash right there on the trail?
I don't know, but Uncle sure must have been bugged.
The thing that got him the most were all those papers and trash from cameras. How could anybody be so stupid to take a picture of something beautiful and then throw the trash all over it to make it ugly? We had to hike for a long way before we finally got to the place where the fire had been. It was already getting late in the afternoon.
Yeah, we were just hiking up to the top of the hill when we suddenly saw it.
All of us were really surprised because we'd never seen where a real forest fire had been before, except in the movies and on TV.
But it didn't really look like the fires in the movies either. It looked different.
Uncle Smiley told us that forest fires in the movies were usually fires that burned everything above the ground and were called crown fires. But lots of fires like this one were underground fires.
Fires which meant that the roots burned under the ground and the fire spread from root to root of each tree.
And those are hard fires to put out sometimes because you can't always see where the fire is going.
Uncle Smiley told us how forest fires kill a lot more than just trees. Baby animals and birds that can't get out of the way fast enough get burned up too.
And all because somebody had forgotten left a campfire burning. That was what started the whole thing off.
Well, we just got our shovels and trees ready and got set to go to work. Uncle had just read a book about planting trees, so he planted the first one to show us how to do it. It's not really hard at all. It's fun. I set out to plant my little tree with the shovel. I had brought me planting. to grow up tall, and earth in which to spread its roots and catch the rain that falls, and plant it in the proper season, in the proper way, and plant it in the proper place to grow up strong someday. Trees are more than pretty scenery, there are many things that greenery gives us. A tree is something special, and we take for granted all the things that it gives us. But from the trees we all receive the gift of air we breathe. So much air that fills the earth begins with tiny leaves, and trees will help the land retain the soil in which we sow, and help retain the water from the rain, their melting snow. You know, it would be nice to come back someday and see how big the trees have gotten.
I wonder how big they'll get.
Real big, I'll bet. Well, now with all our trees planted, it was time to go home. Uncle said he'd studied the map and knew a faster way back by taking another trail.
It didn't turn out that way, though.
On the way, Uncle had another catastrophe.
The first one happened when we stopped along the trail to look at a beautiful waterfall.
Uncle wasn't looking at what he was doing again and knocked his hat off into the water.
Yeah, it all started when he went to climb down the rocks after it. You know how much he loved that hat.
But boy, was that a dumb thing to do.
I'll say, we tried to stop him, but he said he'd be all right. You know Uncle Smiley.
Kept having trouble all the way back to the car. Everything kept happening to him.
Yeah, by the time we got back, he could hardly walk.
I guess we should have carried him, but golly, Uncle Smiley's awful heavy, you know.
He's heavier than almost anybody.
But he's nicer than anybody, too, even if he does make a lot of mistakes.